August 17, 2025 sounds like just another date on a cold calendar, doesn't it? But that's where you're wrong. Dates, they're not just numbers, not just ink on paper. They're checkpoints, markers, alarms that ring whether you're ready or not. And this one, it's not ordinary, not something to shrug off. No, this one carries weight. It hums with a strange electricity in the air, like the city before a storm, like the silence before glass shatters. It whispers that something you've been crawling toward, bleeding toward, dragging your soul through the mud for, is finally about to flip in your favor. Not in pieces, not in scraps, but in waves, everything at once, crashing down on you so fast, you won't even have time to question if you deserve it. Every loss, people treat it like a curse, like a stain that never washes off, like some cruel joke played on them by life itself. But what if I told you that every cut, every fall, every humiliation was nothing more than rehearsal? Rehearsal for the day when the world finally hands you everything you once thought was impossible. You see, loss is not the opposite of winning. No, it's the training ground, the sharpening stone, the whisper in the dark saying, prove it, bleed for it, become strong enough to hold it. Everyone wants to win, but not everyone has hands steady enough, scarred enough, ready enough to actually carry victory when it comes crashing down like a storm. That's why loss exists. It molds you. It remakes you. It teaches you how heavy glory really is. Think about it. When a child lifts a weight that's too heavy, it slips, it falls, it crushes. But the same weight in the hands of someone trained, someone hardened, becomes effortless to hold. Loss is life handing you those weights before the reward. It's the test that most people think is punishment. They cry, they beg, they complain, why me? Why now? But the truth is, without those moments of pain, you'd never survive the weight of your own victory. You'd break under the very thing you prayed for. Loss trains you for pressure, for expectation, for the envy and eyes of others that come crawling after you when you finally rise. Without losing, you'd crumble the second the spotlight touched your face. You see, people imagine victory as light, as freedom, as easy. But real victory is heavy. It demands more than just desire. It demands stamina, endurance, a spine that refuses to bend. And how do you get that? By falling, by failing, by losing. Every loss carved into you is secretly a muscle growing in your soul. Every betrayal is armor being forged around your heart. Every sleepless night is your lungs expanding, learning to breathe in the rare air that comes only at the top. And when you look back, when you stand with everything in your hands, you'll realize every single moment you thought was the end was really just the weight room of destiny. The people who fear loss, who run from it, they stay weak. They stay unready. They wonder why life passes them by, why the big moments never arrive, why fortune skips them like a stone on water. It's because they refused the training. They hid from the pain. They wanted shortcuts. They wanted the prize without the preparation. But you, if you've lost, if you've cried, if you've been dragged across the fire and still kept walking, then you've been trained by the harshest teacher of all. And that means when victory comes, you won't just hold it. You'll own it. You'll carry it. You'll bend it into shape with your bare hands. The truth is, life doesn't reward the strongest at first. It rewards the most patient. Those who can walk through storms without begging for sunshine. Those who can be stripped of everything and still keep moving forward, because those are the ones who can handle the truth of winning. Winning isn't gentle. It doesn't kiss you on the forehead and say, "You deserve this." Winning slams into you like thunder. It pours on you like fire. And only the ones who've been burned before can stand inside it without running. Every loss prepared you to stay calm when everyone else is blinded by the flash of your victory. So remember this: the pain you swallowed, the times you collapsed, the moments you wanted to disappear, they were never wasted. They were rehearsals for the grand performance. Life was sculpting you piece by piece, teaching you balance, teaching you patience, teaching you resilience. Because when everything finally comes to you, it won't arrive politely. It won't ask permission. It will flood you like a tidal wave. And only those who have drowned before can rise and walk on that water without fear. People love to talk about faith like it's some soft little blanket, something warm to keep you safe at night. They picture it as a calm breeze, a soothing hand, a gentle light in the darkness. But faith, real faith, is not soft. It's not calm. It's not gentle. Faith is war. Faith is madness. Faith is standing in front of a collapsing world and saying, "I will not move." It's believing in something no one else sees. Holding on when your hands are bleeding, screaming inside, but still walking forward. Faith is not for the weak. It's for those who have already been broken and still refuse to bend. Because faith, true faith, will always demand proof from you before it ever gives you proof of itself. It will strip you. It will test you. It will drag you into rooms where every door looks locked. And the question is, will you still believe when everything you trusted is gone? When the ground opens beneath your feet, when every voice tells you to quit, will you still stand? That's what faith asks. That's the toll it demands. And the irony is that most people think faith is cheap, easy, effortless. They wear it like jewelry, something shiny to show off. But faith doesn't live in jewelry. It lives in scars, in sleepless nights, in the silence of prayers that felt unanswered, in the darkness you had to crawl through when no one came to rescue you. Faith is the insane choice to keep walking when there's no visible road ahead, to step out onto nothing and trust it will turn into something before you fall. That's why people fear it, because faith makes you look like a fool until the very last second, and only then does it crown you with reward. Most can't handle that humiliation. They want guarantees, evidence, certainty. But faith laughs at guarantees. Faith whispers, jump, and maybe the ground will appear. And those who dare, those who leap, those who choose to look foolish in front of the world, they're the ones who find out that the impossible was waiting all along. But don't misunderstand. Faith is not blind. No, it sees more than eyes ever will. It sees through shadows. It sees past fear. It sees the hand of something greater moving in the chaos. Blindness is stumbling without direction. But faith is choosing a direction even when the path isn't visible yet. It's the ability to say, I don't know how, I don't know when, but I know. That kind of knowing is dangerous because it makes you unstoppable. People can chain your body, mock your dreams, laugh at your hunger. But if you have faith, they can't touch you. They can't bury someone who already believes in resurrection. And that's why faith always looks like madness. Because it dares to say yes when logic screams no. It dares to stand tall when fear orders you to bow. It dares to declare victory in the middle of loss. Faith is the seed planted in dirt that believes it will see the sun even while buried in darkness. And only when the dirt breaks open do others realize the seed was right all along. That's how it works. Faith always looks ridiculous until it becomes undeniable. The truth is, faith is not proven by comfort, but by pressure. Not by sunshine, but by storms. Not by moments where everything is perfect, but by nights where everything is shattered. Because faith is only faith when it costs you something, when it bleeds you, when it strips you, when it demands that you walk without a map, without a guarantee, without applause. And if you've walked that kind of road, if you've held onto something invisible, while everything visible screamed against you, then you already know you're dangerous now. Dangerous to doubt, dangerous to fear, dangerous to despair. Because you've learned the secret. The impossible bends to those who never let go. Faith is not a gentle whisper. It's a roar that won't die, even when silenced. It's fire in the bones, unquenchable, unstoppable. It's the one thing that turns ordinary people into legends. Not because they were stronger, not because they were smarter, but because they were crazy enough to believe when everyone else walked away. And that kind of madness is what moves mountains, what splits seas, what breaks chains. That's why the world will always underestimate faith, until it collides with someone who actually lives by it. You ever notice how patience is the cruelest trick of all? People dress it up like it's this beautiful virtue, this saintly little halo you're supposed to wear. Be patient. Good things take time. That's what they say. But what they don't tell you is patience feels like waiting in a burning room, knowing the fire's not going out anytime soon. It's watching everyone else run ahead while you stand still, trapped, itching, grinding your teeth. Patience is not some calm little yoga pose. No. Patience is teeth marks on your tongue from holding back the scream you want to let out. It's fists clenched behind your back so you don't break something in frustration. It's madness wrapped in silence, because patience is about more than waiting. Anyone can wait. Cows wait in fields, dogs wait by doors. Patience isn't about standing still. It's about standing still with expectation, with the kind of faith that something is coming even when every second feels like an eternity. That's the part nobody likes, because patience burns. It burns your pride. It burns your timeline. It burns the illusion that you're in control. And that's why it's so powerful. Because patience rips control right out of your hands and forces you to trust in a timing bigger than yours. And that drives people crazy. But look closer. Patience is a weapon. Oh yes. It's sharper than rage, heavier than fear. Most people panic when things don't move fast enough. They grab at crumbs. They settle for scraps. They run toward shortcuts. But the one who's patient, that one terrifies the world. Because you can't manipulate someone who refuses to rush. You can't bribe someone who's willing to wait. You can't break someone who knows time is their ally, not their enemy. Patience is the art of saying, I don't need it now, because when it comes, it'll be better than anything I tried to force. And that kind of stillness, that kind of calm in the storm, that strength most people will never touch still. Patience hurts. It gnaws at you. It whispers lies. Maybe it's not coming. Maybe you were wrong. Maybe this silence means failure. And that's the battlefield. Patience is not sitting on your hands smiling. It's a war inside your chest. Every day you fight against the urge to quit, to lower your standards, to compromise just to feel relief. Patience is choosing to keep the door closed until the right knock comes. Even while loneliness claws at you, patience is keeping your seed in the ground. Even when it looks like nothing's happening. While the world tells you to dig it up and give up. And the truth is, most people lose this war. They break under the pressure of time. They'd rather have something now, even if it's poison, than wait for the feast that was promised. But that's where patience separates the ordinary from the unstoppable. Because those who can endure the waiting, they get everything. They don't just win the prize, they win the process. They don't just get the result, they get the strength, the wisdom, the discipline forged in the fire of delay. And that's the real gift. Because when the blessing comes, you're not the same person anymore. You're sharper, harder, wiser. You're ready to carry it without dropping it. That's why the wait is so long. The wait isn't punishment, it's preparation. And only those who survive it understand that sea. Patience teaches you to hear what others miss. In the silence, you start noticing whispers others ignore. In the delay, you start seeing patterns others can't. You learn to read the signs, to trust the hidden movement, to know that just because you can't see it doesn't mean it isn't happening. Patience rewires your vision. It makes you dangerous because you stop reacting to the surface and start trusting what's underneath. And once you learn that, no setback can shake you anymore. You know delay isn't denial. You know silence isn't absence. You know waiting isn't wasting. You've cracked the code and patience. Once it owns you, changes how you move forever. You stop chasing. You stop begging. You stop forcing. You let things come to you. Because you know what's yours will never miss you. And that unsettles people. Because the world runs on panic. It thrives on impatience, on desperation. But when you stand still, unbothered, calm, waiting with fire in your eyes, the world doesn't know how to handle you. You've stepped into a different rhythm, one that guarantees when the time finally hits, it hits with a force so unstoppable. No one can deny it was worth the wait. Money, that's the word that makes people's hearts beat faster, isn't it? You hear it, and suddenly your eyes widen, your mind races, your pulse quickens. Because money isn't just paper. No, it's the promise of freedom, the illusion of safety, the glittering key to every locked door you've ever stood outside of. Say the word billionaire, and the crowd leans in closer, as if just hearing it might sprinkle a little of that magic dust on them. Funny thing is, people worship wealth like it's divine, but they don't realize the cost of carrying it. Everyone thinks they want it, but not everyone is built for the weight of it. Wealth is a funny little trick, isn't it? It doesn't really change you. It just magnifies the person you already were in the shadows. Hand someone $1 billion, and suddenly you don't see a new man. You see the same man, only louder, more obvious, more exposed. The greedy become insatiable, the insecure become paranoid. The weak hide behind walls of gold, and the strong. They turn their fortune into a weapon, into a stage, into a throne. Wealth is a mirror with no filter, a reflection that cannot be blurred by excuses or hidden by poverty. When you had nothing, you could disguise yourself with talk of dreams and potential. But when you hold everything, there's no disguise left. Every choice, every indulgence, every cruelty, every act of generosity, it's all amplified by the sound of coins crashing to the floor. People like to think money is neutral, just paper, just numbers. But money is alive. It breathes with your fears and bleeds with your flaws. The rich man who builds hospitals was already compassionate when he was poor. The rich man who builds cages and fills them with desperate souls was already cruel before he could afford the locks. That's the little joke life plays. Fortune isn't about what you gain. It's about what you reveal Because the second your pockets overflow, everyone around you starts watching, waiting, dissecting your every move. They aren't really curious about you. They're curious about the monster, or the savior, or the fraud hiding underneath the mask you wore when you were broke. And wealth rips that mask clean off. You ever notice how people treat you differently the moment they think you've got money? Suddenly, every smile feels like a transaction. Every handshake feels like a contract. Every compliment feels like bait. But here's the punchline. It's not just them that changes. You change too. You start questioning who's real, who's lying, who's here for you, and who's here for the treasure chest you're sitting on. And the more you question, the more paranoid you become. Reaches amplify suspicion until it becomes a second language you can't stop speaking. And once you start doubting everyone else, you start doubting yourself too. Did you really earn it? Do you really deserve it? Or are you just the fool who got lucky and now has to play the part of a genius to keep the audience entertained? Wealth exposes greed, but it also exposes fear. You'd think money makes you free, but often it chains you tighter than poverty ever could. When you're broke, you've got nothing to lose. When you're rich, you've got everything to lose, and the world knows it. People watch your steps, your choices, your weaknesses. They circle like vultures, waiting for you to trip so they can strip the flesh of your reputation. That's the truth of fortune. It doesn't make you untouchable. It paints a bigger target on your back. And when everyone is aiming at you, who you really are comes spilling out in the panic. Some fight, some run. Some laugh in the face of the arrows flying. But you don't know which one you'll be until the wealth lands in your lap. Think about it. You can't hide behind excuses when you're rich. You can't say, I couldn't help, I didn't have enough, because now you do. You can't pretend to be humble when the world bows at your feet. You can't pretend to be generous when you hoard more than you'll ever need. You can't pretend to be loyal when temptation taps on your window every night. Wealth forces you into the spotlight, and in that light, your real nature stands naked for everyone to see. That's why it's dangerous. Not because of what it gives you, but because of what it forces out of you. So the real question isn't, what would I do if I became rich? No. The real question is, who am I when I'm stripped of excuses? because wealth is the great amplifier. And once it starts broadcasting your true self to the world, you can't turn down the volume. The only thing left is to watch if the crowd cheers, or if they laugh while you burn. Power doesn't always arrive with a crown or a throne. Sometimes it sneaks in quietly, hidden in opportunities, in decisions, in the way people suddenly lean in closer when you speak. Power is slippery, like smoke, like fire. You can't quite hold it, but it clings to you all the same. And when it finally wraps around your fingers, it changes the way you see everything. The streets don't look the same. The faces around you, you don't feel the same. Even your reflection in the mirror doesn't look the same. That's because power is a distortion lens, bending reality, bending perception, bending you. You don't notice it at first, not until you catch yourself enjoying how silence falls when you walk into a room. People like to think power corrupts. No, that's too simple, too easy. Power doesn't corrupt, it exposes. It peels back your skin, strips away your excuses, and shows the raw nerve of who you truly are. The timid man who hides in the shadows. Give him power, and suddenly you'll see the tyrant inside him grinning. The kind woman who gives away her last coin. Give her power, and she'll build a sanctuary no one else dared to dream of. Power doesn't make you someone else. It amplifies what you were already hiding. And once the mask is gone, once everyone sees the truth of you, there's no putting it back on. That's why so many fear power. Not because they'll abuse it, but because they'll be revealed by it. You ever notice how power changes the air in a room? The way people sit straighter, the way their voices soften, the way laughter dies down into nervous smiles. It's intoxicating, isn't it? That silent control, that invisible grip you hold without even touching anyone. But here's the trick. Power doesn't just change them, it changes you too. You start expecting the silence, craving the respect, needing the obedience. And soon, you forget what it feels like to be questioned, challenged, ignored. You forget the chaos of being ordinary. That's when power becomes poison. Not because it destroys you instantly, but because it feeds you slowly. Makes you dependent, makes you weak without it. But let's not lie. Power is also a test of restraint, of vision, of honesty with yourself. Because when the world kneels at your feet, the temptation to step on their backs is almost irresistible. Why not? They gave you the crown, didn't they? They handed you the scepter. Surely they want you to use it. But that's the illusion. Power given can be power taken. The same crowd that cheers your name today will sharpen their knives tomorrow if you stumble. That's the danger of standing above everyone else. The fall is much longer, much louder, and much bloodier, and yet people crave it. They dream of being in control, of bending others to their will, of shaping the world with their words. But what they don't realize is that power demands a price. Every decision you make echoes farther than you think. Every choice carves scars into people you'll never meet. The smallest flick of your wrist can ripple through the lives of strangers, creating storms you'll never see. That's the weight of it. That's the burden. You're not just living your life anymore. You're shaping the lives of everyone caught in your orbit. And the question is, are you strong enough to carry the weight without being crushed by it? Power reveals greed, but it also reveals weakness. It shows you where you bend, where you break, where you lie to yourself to keep the crown steady on your head. It drags out your secrets, your fears, your selfish desires, until they're laid bare under the spotlight for all to see. And when that happens, when you're finally naked under the gaze of the world, there's no going back to who you were. That's the irreversible trick of it. Once you've tasted power, the hunger never leaves. So imagine it now, not just having it, but holding it, feeling it pulse in your veins like lightning. Imagine how it would twist you, test you, transform you. Would you build? Would you destroy? Would you lead? Or would you burn it all just to prove you could? Because power is the stage. And once you step onto it, everyone is watching, waiting, hoping to see what kind of monster or savior you really are. Wealth, it's a funny thing. People chase it like dogs chasing cars, panting, sweating, clawing at the ground, hoping to catch it before it speeds away. And when they finally sink their teeth into it, they don't know what to do. They tear at it, they cling to it, they parade it like a trophy. But wealth isn't a trophy. It's a mirror. It doesn't change you, it shows you. You think money makes you free. No. Money just strips away your excuses. Without it, you say, I can't because I don't have enough. With it, you have no reason left not to act. And that's when the truth of who you are gets revealed. You see, wealth whispers to you at first. It tells you you're safe now, you can breathe, you can relax. But soon the whisper becomes a laugh, and the laugh becomes a demand. Wealth doesn't just want to sit in your pockets. No, it wants to own you. It wants to dictate how you walk, how you talk, how you measure your worth against everyone else. And people fall for it every single time. They think they have wealth, when in reality, wealth has them. Look at them, parading around in polished shoes, hiding behind shiny cars, fragile smiles plastered on their faces. One market crash, one twist of fate, and suddenly their laughter turns into begging. That's the joke of it. The thing they thought made them untouchable becomes the very thing that exposes how fragile they really are. But wealth is also a test, isn't it? Just like power. Some people use it to build walls, to shield themselves from the world. Others use it to build ladders, dragging people up alongside them. Same tool, different outcome. But the tool itself is dangerous because wealth feeds greed like gasoline feeds fire. The more you pour, the bigger it burns, the hungrier it gets. And the hungrier it gets, the more it consumes your time, your mind, your relationships. Before long, wealth isn't just what you have, it's who you are. You're not John or Sarah or anyone else anymore. You're a number on a list, a figure in a bank, a statistic that can be erased in a second. And yet, people worship it. They kneel before it, sacrifice their health for it, kill their dreams to keep it. They'll work themselves into dust, grind their bones down, all for numbers on a screen that never hug them back, never wipe their tears, never truly save them. Funny, isn't it? How something that isn't even real, not paper, not metal, not digital signals, can command more loyalty than flesh and blood. People betray families for it. They sell their souls for it. They bow to it as if it were a god. And when they finally have it, they're emptier than when they started. But here's the real trick. Wealth magnifies loneliness. The higher you climb, the quieter it gets. Suddenly, every handshake feels hollow. Every smile feels suspicious. Every compliment comes with a price tag hidden underneath. When you're poor, you wonder who you can trust. When you're wealthy, you wonder if you can trust anyone at all. And that gnaws at you. That eats away at you more than hunger ever did. Because hunger, at least, is honest. Loneliness. That's a parasite that digs deep into your chest and doesn't let go. Wealth also creates an illusion of control. You think you can buy safety, buy time, buy loyalty, but safety slips, time runs, and loyalty cracks the moment someone else offers a bigger check. That's when you realize money doesn't buy loyalty. It only rents it. And the rent is due every single day. One late payment, one slip. And the very people who smiled at your table will be the first to stab you in the back. That's the cruel comedy of wealth. It never belongs to you. You only borrow it from fate. And fate has a wicked sense of humor. It gives with one hand, takes with the other. One moment you're counting your riches, the next you're counting your losses. People think wealth is security. No. Wealth is a gamble. Every coin you stack is just another bet placed against time, against chaos, against the inevitability that everything you build will one day crumble. And deep down, even the richest know this. That's why they hoard, why they panic, why they can't sleep at night. They're not protecting their wealth. They're trying to protect themselves from the truth that wealth can't protect anyone. So here's the laugh: wealth is the mask everyone wants, the one they believe will make them whole. But when they finally put it on, they realize it doesn't fit. It never fit, and it was never meant to. Because wealth isn't salvation. It's a test, a trick, a spotlight. It doesn't change the stage. It just shows the world exactly who you've been all along. Success, oh, that glittering word people chase as if it were oxygen. They think it's a finish line, a golden medal waiting to be hung around their necks, a crowd cheering as they cross. But here's the twist. Success isn't a finish line at all. It's a mirror, a stage, a magnifying glass. You don't arrive at success. You arrive at yourself. And that's what terrifies most people, because when the applause fades, the cameras switch off, and the stage lights dim, you're left staring into the reflection of everything you've become. Some can't stand what they see, so they bury themselves deeper in noise. More work,